Pajama Party for Two, Part 2, a Miraculous Ladybug fan fiction. With special thanks to Arlie Just Doodle It on Tumblr for the use of her art in both the thumbnail and opening image. You can find a link to her Tumblr in the description box below. This is part 2 of a story. If you haven't already seen the first part, you can find the link in the description. "Chat!" Ladybug yelled, feeling herself beginning to blush. "What's wrong, my lady?" he asked, running over to her. "I know we only have a few minutes before we change back, so I was wondering if you could meet me back here in an hour? I have something to give you." Her voice trailed off. She knew the pajamas would make him happy, but it was still a little embarrassing to give him the equivalent of a couple's gift. His eyes widened as his jaw dropped. She expected him to wear that dumb Cheshire grin, but instead he began to stutter. You, he pointed to her, then himself, have a present for me? "I'll see you in an hour," she said, zipping away. "He's rather excited, don't you think?" Tiki said, going for the cookie jar as Marinette put the pajamas in a bag and tied it with a ribbon. Yeah, I guess," Marinette said. "You know what you should do that would make him even happier?" "What's that?" "You should show up wearing your set." Marinette froze at the suggestion and groaned. She knew that the PJs alone would make his day, but knowing that they were a matching set would probably send him over the moon. She wouldn't be surprised if he wore it while transformed to play with children in the park. "I bet he would like that," she sighed. "You should take him some food as well," Tiki suggested, pointing to the cookies. "He's too skinny for his own good." "I don't want to spoil him," Marinette joked, knowing in her gut that her Kwame was right. The least she could do was put in a few goods from the bakery to send him on his way. "I bet he would love those strawberry macaroons you made this morning." "Yeah, I bet he would," she said, going downstairs to wrap up a few desserts for him. "Who is that for?" her mother asked, seeing her daughter carefully select some goods. "Oh, my biology partner." "The boy who was over last night?" "Who, Adrian? No way! Of course not! It's not like I'd want him to be my partner anyway," Marinette protested, feeling her face turn red at the thought of feeding her teenage crush. "I'm just asking, dear," her mother said, turning away to hide a smile. "Thanks for the food. Gotta go. Bye," Marinette said, grabbing her hand-picked bag and sprinting up the stairs. "Well, what did you decide on?" Tiki asked, noticing the bag. "No time. It's almost been an hour and I'm sure he's waiting," she exclaimed, shoving the food into the pajama bag. "Tiki, spots on!" She felt the familiar warmth of spandex wrapping around her and glanced at her own ladybug onesie, remembering what Tiki had said. "Oh, the things I'll do for the people I love," she muttered to herself, grabbing the PJs and buttoning them over her suit. She got a few looks as she ran across the rooftops of Paris to see Chat. Sure enough, he was there waiting, legs dangling off the edge of a roof. He heard her walking up behind him and looked up with a smile on his face, only to freeze as he took in what she was wearing. "My lady, you," he began, looking at her outfit. "There's one for you too," she blushed, handing him the bag. "Don't take it too seriously. It's not like it was made specifically for you or anything." She waited for him to retaliate with a bad pun, but he was oddly silent. She glanced over to see him pulling out the Chat Noir onesie with an astonished look on his face. He looked up at her slowly, then back at the onesie. "My lady," he whispered, looking between the baked goods she packed him in the pajamas. "You—" "Yes, Chat?" She stiffened, realizing the bakery's logo was printed on the bag. "You're friends with Marinette? That's awesome!" he exclaimed. Ladybug sighed in relief. That was a close call. "I'm just a fan of this bakery, that's all," she said, trying to divert his attention away from her civilian self. "She made these, didn't she?" Chat asked, buttoning his on. She froze in fear. How did he know who made them? She debated whether or not to filter the truth and decided to go for it. "Yeah, she did." "That's so cool!" he exclaimed, stretching the PJs and dancing around on the roof. "How did you know?" she asked. He froze with his arms up and a leg out in the middle of his interpretive dance. The model, Adrian Agreste, posted a picture of this last night on his Instagram and I liked it." "Wait, he did? He posted a picture of it?" Yeah. Apparently he watched a movie with her yesterday and snapped a selfie during it." She felt a blush spreading across her face. Adrian had taken a selfie with her. She fought the urge to bounce back home and check her phone to see it, and instead gave her partner a pat on the head. "You a fan of his, Shantan?" "I'm a fan of you, that's for sure." "This is no time to be silly. I was asking you a question." "You know, Bugaboo, we could start an Instagram account together." "I wouldn't want to make the lady blog jealous." "Then can we at least take a selfie and send it to Alia?" She sighed at the pleading in his eyes. "How about you run and get your phone and we'll take a selfie together, but for our eyes only." She couldn't be caught dead in a couple's costume with Chat Noir if it meant proof made it to social media. His eyes widened as a Cheshire grin spread across his face. "I'll be right back!" he exclaimed. Ladybug smiled at her partner as he leapt away across the rooftops of Paris. "He's a good guy," she whispered to herself. Thank you so much for listening. Again, this was part 2 of the Pajama Party for 2 series. If you'd like to see the first, you can click here. One more thanks to Arlie Just Doodle It on Tumblr.com for allowing the use of her art in this video. I'll catch you next time.